A disappointment. The quality of final ball inside the penalty area from open play and from set pieces has been very substandard.
Yes, it has, especially from corners. I've watched too many games and too many poor corners, especially on the outswing. On that occasion, I've got to say, Gonzalez' positional play was very, very good.
Player who plays his club football in Italy with Bologna, Giancarlo Gonzalez. He's had a few red cards in his career. No disciplinary problems for him in this tournament so far, and like so many of his teammates, vastly experienced at this level. Seventh World Cup game today. Neymar flicks the ball over the on-rushing defender and carries his run onto it. Then he's fouled by Venegas, and it's another free kick won by Neymar, the third time that he's been fouled today. 10. Remember the other day, 1 every 9 minutes. He's been fouled 3 times in the opening 18 minutes here in St. Petersburg today. And another opportunity for Brazil to try and work something from a set piece. This one's in a not dissimilar position, really, although the two-man wall is slightly outside the penalty area this time. The angle slightly more acute as the ball goes out towards the touchline. Neymar to take it, 5 running onto it, more air underneath this one. That just makes it a comfortable claim for Navas off the head of Miranda, the centre-half. Miranda then tries to stop Navas taking the goal kick quickly. It just banged into him on the edge of the penalty area, so it's now a free kick to Costa Rica, who survived the opening 20 minutes without a scare. Brazil 0, Costa Rica 0.
Yeah, I think Neymar there, as you said, been fouled for the 3rd time. What he's got to do, instead of being on the floor and almost got to sulk to his mentality, is get up, get the ball again and attack the player that's literally fouled him, to ask more and more questions of him and draw fouls if that's the way it's going to happen.
They've only won a couple of games, Costa Rica, in the last 11, beating both Scotland and Northern Ireland. Coming to this one on the back of 3 straight defeats. The 2-0 loss at Ellen Road against England, a 4-1 defeat to Belgium, and then a 1-0 defeat to Serbia, and that excellent Kolarov free kick in their first match in the tournament. But they played well in that game, and they played well so far today. Once more, they're on the front foot, but can't do anything constructive with possession as Gamboa just couldn't quite work the angle as successfully as he might have done. And it's cleared by the Brazilian right-back Fagner, who then gets a return ball from Willian. Willian working it back inside the area. Alisson takes a touch, lets it run across his body, and Morenia's eyes lit up for a moment, but Miranda will be able to play it successfully out from the back, and Marcelo brings it forward now. And he's played it down the left-hand touchline for Coutinho. Coutinho, just too much on the pass for Gabriel Jesus, who acknowledges the intent of it. It goes through for Navas. I think the Manchester City man has had a kick worthy of the name in the opening 20 minutes.
No, he certainly hasn't. He's been very isolated up there. What I think Brazil have got to do and do better, the difference between outstanding players and outstanding teams and lesser teams is the fact they see and do things quicker. At this moment in time, Brazil are not seeing and doing things quicker. Well, they certainly might be seeing it, but they're certainly not doing it quicker. As in moving the ball, second man running, all of those things that make you a good side.
Costa Rica have a throw. Glorious, but still relatively cool afternoon here in St. Petersburg. Certainly so far north, don't get the streams of temperatures here that England will have to put up with in Nizhny Novgorod in a couple of days' time. Another game that you can hear with us live here on Talk Sport. We've got 2 more for you today. Nigeria against Iceland and Serbia against Switzerland, which kick off at 4 and 7 respectively. We'll also hear from Gareth Southgate at half-time in this game, as the ball is headed on inside the penalty area by Venegas and inside the centre circle by Gonzalez. Gonzalez works it back for Duarte. Duarte, the centre-half, into the feet of the midfielder Guzman. Back for Gonzalez again. Has to retrace his steps a little bit, but can do so successfully without any pressure being applied. Finds Duarte. Duarte back for Keylor Navas, and Navas clears right-footed out towards the touchline, but he's overhit the pass for Brian Ruiz, and it goes out for
a Diego Costa, incredibly, you know, someone a big target man, so the other smaller, more mobile players can operate around him. He can act as the focal point and the target. I think Jesus is more of a...
Sent the ball back to where the free kick was going to be taken, and he hit the stricken teammates in an increasingly long line of Neymar free kicks. That one man is nowhere near 10 yards away. Neymar's flighted it in towards the back post, and the header is an innocuous one, wide of the scrambling Navas, his right-hand post, and out of play.
Growing during this game, the longer they go without scoring, or alternatively, I think if Costa Rica score.
Well, if they fail to win, it'll be a fourth successive World Cup game without victory. That will equal the worst barren run in their tournament history. You have to bear in mind they're the only nation ever to have played in all 21 World Cups. Got to go back to 1978 for the last by Switzerland to the 1-1 draw before today. Marcelo has possession. Once more, it's well inside Costa Rican territory, but they're so organised behind the ball that doesn't phase them too much. As it's launched forward towards the edge of the penalty area, the Costa Rican back line can deal with it. The high ball played forward is then flicked on by Ureña, who tried to steer it out towards Venegas to his right-hand side, but he couldn't find him. And Costa Rica once more retreat inside their own half. This time Neymar has played a perceptive ball between the lines for Gabriel Jesus. Gamboa comes across, and Jesus just wanted time to survey his options, and he's put it out of play for a throw.
The more clear-cut chances, they're basically just pushing up, standing up the field, and that's enabling Costa Rica to come back and defend with a 5 against 3, and that suits Costa Rica. They're going to have to start moving the Costa Rican wing-backs around a little bit more. Wagner's got to get forward, and Marcelo's
touchline. Costa Rica only defending the width of their penalty area, even with a 5. They've turned over possession neatly in the midfield, and Ureña can find Ruiz, who plays it out towards Gamboa. Coutinho retreats and does well to win it back, and now Marseille, but I believe correctly it doesn't count.
Yeah, I was waiting, looking down at the official, and I thought, why hasn't he flagged? But, as he's been guided to do, let the play ebb out, and then all of a sudden, I've got to say though, fantastic finish. It was a sort of half shot there, but he was a good yard offside, I'd take him.
Duarte did really well, just seeing the replay, stepped forward in the nick of time and got Jesus offside. A sharp finish from him. Would have been his 11th goal in 19 internationals. His numbers for club and country are excellent. Gabriel Jesus, 22 goals for club and country this season. And he had a lengthy spell out, of course, through injury that he picked up on New Year's Eve at Crystal Palace. His goalkeeper, Alisson, hasn't had too much to do. He's got the ball at his feet now. He's played it out towards Marcelo. It was a near miss there for Brazil. Will they be buoyed by that? Will it just give them that little bit of encouragement? Still, it's Costa Rica who've had the more chances in this game. They played 27 minutes on TalkSport. Neymar makes a good run forward. Out comes Navas. Closed the angle very quickly. And Neymar just couldn't quite get it past him. His first touch a wee bit heavy. And that allowed Navas to sprint off his line and narrow the angle sufficiently. But Brazil, all of a sudden, have upped the gear, upped the tempo. Trying to get out towards Jesus, left-hand side of the penalty area. He's gone shoulder to shoulder with Gamboa. Gamboa has bought the free kick. And Costa Rica will be able to have a little bit of respite. There's been complaints about the tempo which Brazil have played. And when they do sharpen it up, as they've done in the last couple of minutes, they look much more perceptive.
Jim, that's the first time they've played with a real tempo that Costa Rica can't match, basically. Wonderful ball and an even better run from Neymar. It's the first time Neymar's opened his legs and really driven in a diagonal run in behind the wing-back, and the wing-back just didn't see the run coming. That is the key, to play to a tempo that Costa Rica can't deal with.
Brian Ruiz can't control it in midfield after a long ball fall from his goalkeeper Navas. 0-0 the scoreline. Of course, if it stays this way, Brazil will only have 2 points from 2 games. Now they're getting Neymar in with increasing regularity, and he's pulled it back from the byline this time, but Gonzalez will volley it clear. So many more white shirts than blue whenever a ball comes in from a wide position. Marcelo tries a speculative effort, few oohs and ahs from the crowd, but Navas knew from a long time out it was going wide, and it's a goal kick which will be taken away to the right-hand side. But the possession is now beginning to count for something a little bit more tangible for the Brazilians. They're getting Neymar into space, which they haven't been able to do before. One of the problems that they had against Switzerland was the way that they were pressed in the midfield. Costa Rica haven't been able to do that in the same manner.
Neymar has made 2 runs there within 2 minutes, and all he's done was a Brazilian's on the ball, he's looked at him, got eye contact, and made a good diagonal run towards the opposition's goal, and Gamboa's been all over the place, to be quite honest with you. He's proved that he's not seen the run. Now, it's all very well getting done once. You get done twice in 2 minutes, that's too much.
Well, he's a bit ring-rusty, Gamboa. He only made 3 appearances for Celtic all season. Just 1 Premier League start in 2 years at West Brom. Coutinho outside the penalty area, a man who's capable of the spectacular. This time he couldn't quite get enough dip on the shot from 25 yards, and it goes over Navas's bar. 29 gone. Brazil, the better team now, still 0-0 with Costa Rica.
Yeah, I think if they carry on playing in that vein and at that tempo, they've got a chance of breaking Costa Rica down. Prior to that, I didn't see anything in the energy within the team that suggests they were going to break them down.
Another long crossfield ball comes from the Brazilian midfield. Willian took his eye off it. He was looking up to see what was going to happen next and didn't control it. It's drifted underneath his foot. A few catcalls from the Brazilian supporters, and it's out for a throw which will be taken on the left-hand side. Half an hour gone. Costa Rica will be delighted with the start that they've made, albeit that the last 5 minutes that we've seen have certainly been Brazil's best 5 minutes so far. 70 feet and 9 coming into this one for the Costa Ricans, but you wouldn't know it with the confidence. Jesus losing out in midfield. Fagan did really well, went in strongly but won it back. Neymar is challenged again on the edge of the penalty area. It was a fair challenge from Gamboa, who waves him up disdainfully after the referee did something similar, and play goes on. Gamboa continues his run forward down the right-hand touchline for the Costa Ricans. Back Guzman loses out in the midfield. Brazil can bring it away. Paulinho done really well to regain possession there for Seleção. Neymar back on his feet, playing on the shoulder of Acosta. Inside the penalty area, the angle is tight. He's turned beautifully, clips it towards the far post, and Oviedo and Duarte did well between them to smuggle it away from Jesus and put it out of play for what has actually been given as a goal kick, because the offside flag is up. So it is a free kick to Costa Rica inside their own penalty area, where I think most people anticipated a corner. A free kick given, but again, Neymar is causing problems.
Yep, I think Jesus just drifted offside on that occasion. Now, all they've done, Brazil, is just play at higher revs and at a quicker tempo. Gamboa's lost his confidence totally in what he's trying to achieve. He was adjudged not to have fouled Neymar just slightly before that attack, but personally he's not won any of the ball. Whether he's missed the player and the ball, I don't know.
Oviedo just drew Casemiro towards the ball, pops it off to Brian Ruiz. Ruiz wanting too much time in possession, ends up getting the benefit of the doubt from the referee, and a free kick is given against Gabriel Jesus. Brian Ruiz winning his 112th cap today. So much experience on the international stage with Costa Rica, although he hasn't scored in his last 12 internationals. Playing his club football these days in Portugal with Sport. Nicest club in Iberian football at the moment, after the mass walkout from so many of their players following fan unrest at the end. Navas controls it inside his own penalty area. And just right-hand side, but in keeping with so many passes in this tournament so far, it was overhit with the slight lightness of this ball. Gamboa then goes in again strongly on Neymar, wins it. Took a little bit of Neymar as well, but it's a throw that is given. Marcelo indicates frantically to one of the ball boys that he wants another ball, doesn't want to go and retrieve the one that was put out of play, and sits on its own just over the touchline. It's now being retrieved by a young ball boy who furtively comes to meet it and pick it up and take it behind the hoardings. Brazil on the front foot with Coutinho, 15 outside the penalty area. Down towards Willian. Willian running at Oviedo, he's trying to stand his ground. He's shown him inside, and Willian's left-footed curling effort goes into the Brazilian fans behind the goal. 33 gone, Brazil 0, Costa Rica 0.
Yeah, it's interesting to watch the body language of the Costa Rican back five now. They look so confident when Brazil were playing at a lower tempo. Now all of a sudden questions are asked. Gamboa's going to ground. He either wins it or he don't. You know, it's more luck than judgment in many ways, some of his defending. And
They have some space though, and again it's space down the right-hand touchline for Costa Rica, because Neymar is making no attempt to drift back and do anything defensively. Acosta under a little bit of pressure from Neymar, but only a token gesture. Played out towards the right-hand touchline by the Costa Ricans again, but Gamboa's ball forward was a poor one, and Marcelo can win it back. Miranda for Thiago Silva. Thiago Silva in the shadow of this main stand plays the ball forward towards Fagner. Fagner for Thiago Silva again in his white boots. He's knocked it square, parallel to again, and just in the inside left channel for Fagner. Fagner into the feet of Paulinho, turn back then towards Thiago Silva. Coutinho to Neymar, Neymar to Marcelo, back for Neymar again. Neymar just pulls it back behind square. Another opportunity for Brazil to try and string the passes together, try and unlock this very well regimented Costa Rican back line. Marcelo's ball in, headed away from Jesus by Gonzalez, and then brought out by Venegas and flicked by Ruiz straight out of play. Couldn't find Areño, who's the only man up with him, and it's gone out for a throw which will be taken on the Brazilian right-hand side. With 10 minutes to go to half-time here on TalkSport. During the half-time interval, England head coach Gareth Southgate will be giving his assessment ahead of the game against Panama with our TalkSport England correspondent Nigel Adderley. Coming up at 7 tonight, the other game in this group, Serbia against Switzerland. Victory in that match for the Serbians, and they've qualified. And in between those two games, the 4 p.m. kickoff, Nigeria against Iceland in Group D. If Iceland win that, they'll only need a draw with Croatia to knock Argentina out. Brazil, hoping they're not in the same boat going into the final game, are on the front foot with Neymar, corner of the penalty area. Neymar back for Coutinho. Coutinho down towards Willian. Oh, the left back Oviedo acknowledges his error. He's got away with it. It's out of play for a Brazilian throw. But he came to me just trying to put his foot through the ball to get it away and completely missed his kick. And it rolled down towards Willian, who couldn't then quite keep it in control. Got a touch to it, but couldn't take the momentum out of the pass, and it's gone over the line and out of play for a Costa Rican throw. But Oviedo, his heart was in his mouth. His left hand was up very quickly to acknowledge his error long before the ball had gone out of play, but he escaped.
Yeah, he certainly did. And with Costa Rica, with their run of results being so poor going into this, it just breeds confidence. The longer it goes on with them not scoring, Brazil not scoring a goal, it's how they react when they do concede a goal. It is probably the mark of the team and how good or how bad they actually are.
Foul by Areño on Thiago Silva. He had no chance of winning the ball. Just an opportunity to put his opponent on the ground, and Thiago Silva reacted angrily and didn't want to be helped back to his feet. The referee Bjorn Kuipers from the Netherlands has a word. No yellow cards as yet in this one, as Costa Rica can bring it forward with Borges, who's had the best opportunity of the game. And is sweeping the ball out towards the right-hand touchline. He's over-hit it for Gamboa, for Venegas, I beg your pardon. It's gone out of play for a throw, which will be taken by the Brazilians. But only 7.5 minutes to go to half-time. Brazil still haven't had a single shot on target. It's to the credit of Costa Rica, of course, but also tells you everything you need to know about what has at times been a listless performance from the Brazilians. If this ends 0-0, they've got 2 points from 2 games. Will be definitely behind Serbia, potentially behind Switzerland as well, going into the final round of matches. The Brazilians take on Serbia, last up in Moscow on Wednesday. On the right-hand side of the penalty area, Willian rifles in a right-footed cross, which hits Oviedo and goes out of play for a corner, which I think I'm right in saying is the first corner of the game. It'll be taken on the Brazilian right-hand side. 7 minutes to go to half-time. Willian puts his right arm above his head to indicate where the delivery is going to go. Neymar stands, hands on hips on the edge of the penalty area. It's a right-footed delivery, and a Brazilian player's gone down inside the box. It was Paulinho. The referee said no foul, and Costa Rica can break, and break quickly. Gamboa forward, Areño is offside, inexplicably offside. When it was 2 against 2, he's looking along the line. Our monitors show that there is a VAR check going on at the moment, checking for a possible penalty for the manhandling of Paulinho, attacked that previous corner. Bjorn Kaup, as the referee, is yet to put his hand to his ear to indicate that he is listening, and play goes on. Check is over. No need for the referee to have a look at the incident again on the pitch side monitor. He was well placed, but by and large those haven't been given. That wasn't as clear cut as the one, well, either of the ones that Harry Kane should have had the other night. Willian coming in off the right flank, finds Casemiro. Casemiro's return ball wasn't great, and that forced Willian to play a hurried ball, which was a poor one. Brian Ruiz will break forward quickly for Costa Rica. A quartet of blue shirts converged on him. Ruiz was fouled, referee indicating that he'd done his best to play the advantage, and has now pulled it back to where the initial infringement took place inside the centre circle. Free kick to Costa Rica, 5 minutes to go to half-time, 0-0 on TalkSport.
We just watched a replay of that challenge in the box. A little bit clumsy, maybe not enough in it to overturn the decision, but a little clumsy, I would say. Referee, I think this referee's a very, very good referee, personally. Good decision there with Ruiz. Let play go. And Brazilian very fortunate not to be booked, I think, though.
Talk about the VAR having to see something to overturn a clear and obvious error. I think had the referee given that, the VAR would have upheld the decision.
I think you're right.
I think it was there were shades of grey in it. Neymar pulls it out towards the left-hand touchline for Coutinho. Coutinho playing in a deeper role than he does for Barcelona, than he did for Liverpool. Paulinho to Casemiro, and then Coutinho sweeping it wide out towards Marcelo on the left-hand touchline. Marcelo onto his right foot, it's a better effort, but Navas dives to his right-hand side and makes a comfortable save from Brazil's first attempt on goal, which comes in the 41st minute.
Yeah, I think anything dangerous from Brazil is either coming from a run I think his confidence is a little bit shot out, and he's being exposed for probably a wing-back that prefers to go forward rather than defend.
Coutinho wins the free kick. Been plenty of those. This one is just on the edge of the centre circle in Costa Rican territory. What Brazil would give to have a half-time lead, just to settle the nerves. Of course, they had a half-time lead in the first game that they played. 0-0, and the longer the game goes, it seems to be going very quickly. The longer the game goes, the more Brazil will be going the other way, but that's to be expected. Navas's handling is assured from a Fagner cross. It was far too close to the goalkeeper. And he can just get back to his feet, make his way forward towards the edge of the penalty area, and then bowl it out underarm for Duarte. Duarte's long left-footed clearance down the left-hand touchline is headed on, and Venegas has done well. He's got in behind Thiago Silva, who recovered magnificently. There was very little margin for error. He was just able to get his body between Venegas and the ball. Miranda should be able to complete the clearance from the back for Brazil. He can. And Fagner plays it now down towards Willian. Willian into the feet of Paulinho, who's cleverly turned it out towards the right-hand touchline. Now, what will Paulinho's delivery be like? It's a low skidding cross that misses everybody. Jesus will keep it in, though, on the left flank. 2 to go to half-time at 0-0. Coutinho trying to work the applies the width on the Brazilian right-hand side. To Casemiro again, wearing 5 for Brazil, down towards Willian. Willian always happy to come inside. The Costa Rican defence always happy to show him inside as well. Hasn't taken on Oviedo on the outside once as yet. He's got one of the Costa Rican midfielders just snapping at his heels there. It was Guzman. Marcelo to Miranda, almost caught in possession, and Brian Ruiz pushes Miranda to the ground, but the ball was played in the nick of time before he could in territory. Neymar tries to take it on down that left. He's had that 5-minute purple patch in this game, but little before it or after it. Fagner now towards the edge of the box, right-footed diagonal clip in towards Neymar, who's offside, and another Brazilian attack comes to nothing. 90 seconds to the break. 0-0 Stuart.
I think that interaction there with Neymar probably shows where he is, both on form-wise and fitness-wise. As I say, He's drifted into an offside position, but when the ball come to him, he didn't know that, and his first.
As you would imagine, Keylor Navas is taking as much time about this free kick as he can. Eventually he knocks it short for Duarte, and Duarte sends it out towards the right-hand touchline, where it's controlled by Venegas. Left-footed ball forward towards the edge of the penalty area. Urena is the target of that. Venegas will pick it up again. Little nutmeg of Casemiro. Referee allows play to go on. Urena to Gamboa. Miranda nicks it away from him, and Marcelo stops it going out of play for a Costa Rican throw down by the corner flag. Played forward by him to Coutinho. Marcelo almost caught in possession then in a dangerous area, but has got it away. Thiago Silva down towards the right-hand touchline for Fagner. Fagner brings it forward. Seconds remaining in the first half. The first half in which Brazil have had one shot on target, comfortably saved. Costa Rica have offered next to nothing going the other way, but have arguably had the best chance of the game when Borges shot wide. Neymar, left-hand side of the penalty area, sliding challenge comes in on him, and it's out of play for a goal kick. And Costa Rica should be able to just about see off the one additional minute of this first half without getting the ball out of harm's way. Now to be played down on the right-hand side. Urena will a lot of ground there. Venegas is waiting as well, and Urena is fouled by Miranda out by the right-hand touchline, and Costa Rica have their first set-piece opportunity right at the end of the first half. What can they muster from here?
Yeah, fantastic opportunity at this stage of the game. If they can go in at half-time with their noses in front, Costa Rica. They've not. Neymar has probably been the highlight of their half, getting in behind the fullback. But apart from that, they've played at a tempo that suited Costa Rica.
One in the wall, which is Coutinho. Three centre-halves are all forward. He's flighted towards the back post. It was overhit and will drift past everybody and out of play for a Brazilian throw. And that will see us through to half-time with the scoreline goalless. Brazil's nerves tangible. Costa Rica have just been Costa Rica. Those that we saw against the likes of the Netherlands in 2014, their clean sheet still intact, and Brazil can't find a way through. One tame shot on target, all they've got to show for the first 45 minutes, which is Brazil 0, Costa Rica 0.
Thank you, Jim. Stuart, well with Stuart in just a moment. What a second 45 we've got for you. It is the first of three games. What a week of football this is on Talk Sport. Nigeria against Iceland from Volgograd with Alan Parry and Mick McCarthy from 4.